Hello there, my spooky, scary skeletons. It's Chloe in real life, your guide to the ghoulish, your sharer of the spook, and a fan of all things frightful. Welcome back to Spooky Saturdays, and this is a very, 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 very special episode of Spooky Saturdays because we are in one of the most haunted places in America. We are in the Queen Mary, and today is a very special day at the Queen Mary because today is the opening of the most haunted room on the most haunted deck of the entire ship, room B340.
So this is probably the most asked about room on board the Queen Mary, the entrance to our first-class swimming pool. Now, why is it the most asked about room on board the ship? Well, many parapsychologists believe that located in the changing rooms of our first-class swimming pool, there is a vortex, said to be a whirlpool of electromagnetic energy that acts as a portal between our world and the next. Some psychic investigators have even claimed it has allowed anywhere from 300 to 600 spirits access to the Queen Mary. We've also had a number of reported sightings inside this room. Sightings of a woman in a white tennis skirt seen walking down the stairs at the forward end of the room down to the lower deck, where she disappears behind one of the pillars. We've had sightings of a woman in a 1930s style bathing suit appear at the edge of the swimming pool, dive into it and vanish. Wet footprints have been known to materialize alongside the swimming pool. In April of 2010, while guiding a tour through this room, a guest pointed out what appeared to be wet footprints leading from the swimming pool back into the changing rooms and into one stall in particular where they simply stopped. I should also point out that our swimming pool has been drained for over 26 years now. There's no water in it. Back in August of 2012, one of our many tour guides reported that when he entered this area of the ship from the hotel corridor on the starboard side, approaching the third-class main staircase, he saw what appeared to be a gentleman dressed entirely in black walking up the last few steps of the staircase. He said that there was nothing out of the ordinary about this until that man reached the top of the stairs and suddenly vanished. The tour guide did mention this to one of his supervisors later that day. The supervisor informed him that he had seen a ghost, commonly known as the Man in Black, and explained that the third-class main staircase was where two of the Queen Mary's passengers had in fact lost their lives. It is the steepest passenger stairway on board the ship. There's also another problem with it. The stairs are located toward the bow, the forward end of the ship, which would be rising and then falling with every single wave on the North Atlantic, so it could be a little difficult to maneuver these stairs at times. It turns out that a number of the passengers on board the Queen Mary did lose their footing while walking up or down the stairs, fell down to the deck below, did not survive their injuries. It is generally believed that this man in black was one of those two passengers. There have been over 24 reported sightings of him on this section of the third-class main staircase here in Long Beach. And as for the tour guide who reported seeing him back in 2012, well, that tour guide still works on board, still does tours. And he tells his tours about his experience in the third person.
Man, are we underwater? I get this feeling we're underwater. We are. If you look here, this white paint job here where it meets this rust paint line, that's the water line outside. We're about 40 feet or so underwater right now. Come on in.
I prefer to.
Welcome to the safe room, everybody. It really is a safe room. If there were ever an emergency situation where they couldn't go back to the elevator, they could come in here for shelter. So it really is a safe room, yet it's one of the several what I call weird spots aboard the ship. Places where we have extra numbers of high strangeness occur, including disembodied voices, touching, great EVP, captures, etc., energies pushing people, that kind of thing. So I just love this room, What I want to do is I want to do a demonstration of my EVP listening station for you guys. This may allow us to hear those elusive EVPs on the spot. Electronic voice phenomenon. It's the recording of a possible spirit voice on a recording device. And it's a voice you didn't hear at the time that it was recorded, that you later discover it when you're playing your recording back. So The key to the system is this little recorder here, built and designed specifically to do this work, so it's specialized piece of equipment. This is a digital delay playback recorder. So we're going to record 23 seconds, and I'll ask a question, we're going to go completely silent. When the 23 seconds is up, it's going to play back through my loudspeaker here. And through that, and in that silent time, we're going to listen for any voices or anything anomalous that might be possible spirit-based. So we're listening to everything on a 23-second delay basis. So here we go. I'd like to say hello to the spirit people that can hear my voice across the ship and that are in the boiler room system. We have a great group of people here that are curious about you and your realm. So if you wouldn't mind spending a few moments with us and chat with us. You've seen the system used before. Just talk into my hand tonight. This is the box you want to talk into as loud as you can, please. And just going to ask a few questions. Do we have anybody, any spirit person here that would like to say hello to my friends? Any spirit person here that would like to say hello to my friends?
Hi there, I am here with Mr. Matthew, and tell us a little bit about what you do for the Queen Mary. He has a pretty cool job.
I do. I have the coolest job ever. I'm the ship's resident paranormal investigator, and I also host the paranormal investigation tours late night on the weekends. And so we take guests down into the bowels of the ship and some of the purported most haunted locations, give them a little education, put some tools in their hands, get them dirty investigating. And the goal on my tour is for everybody to take home evidence to review, hopefully find something awesome, and report back to us so we can archive it for the ship.
So the Queen Mary is one of the most haunted places in America, if the world. And
I'll vouch for that, definitely.
And so you must get so much evidence. So with your tour, there's a pretty good chance that you're going to find something in your 3.5 hour tour.
Well, nothing's ever guaranteed with the paranormal. I tell you that right off the bat. But it takes a lot of patience and time. But the ship's paranormal laboratory, very impressive with the evidence of high strangeness that she gives us on my tour. Yes, we do get evidence of high strangeness all the time. We see thousands of people on my tour a year, and we receive tons and tons and tons of data to review. It's very impressive.
That's amazing. So when can people take your tours? How long do they usually go?
Well, they are available Fridays, Saturdays, and Sundays. And you have to enjoy investigating the ship in the middle of the night because they start off at about 11 o'clock and go until 3 o'clock plus in the morning. So whenever it's over, right? But people want to investigate the ship in the middle of the night. So happy to provide that. But usually it's about 3 to 3.5 hours. And it's every weekend without fail.
Right. Thank you so much.
Well, everyone, I hope we're ready finally to go into the area that this whole celebration is all about. Well, I want you to know I experience a vertigo every time I go into this cabin. I've had it on and off tonight until I am feeling the effects of it even now. But please.
Does the Ouija board come along with your reservation?
The Ouija board does come along with your reservation. So welcome to B340. This room has not been occupied since the mid-'80s, of course. And some of the occurrences that led to that was hotel guests checking into the room and complaining that the lights would go on and off behind themselves, that the water in the bathroom would start and stop. One housekeeper came into the room one day, and the beds in those days were on this side, and made the bed perfectly, and went outside into the alleyway to her cart to get some towels for the bathroom. And when she came back in, she found the bed that she had just made all rumpled up and crumpled up in the floor. And so she went and reported that, and at that point, with all of the guest complaints, or comments, I like to say, instead of complaints, might have been complaints back then because people weren't as open-minded about paranormal activity as they are today. the company decided not to rent the room anymore, and it was turned into a series of offices. But over the last 20 years, I can tell you it was gutted to the floor. There was nothing in here. It was just, it looked very depressing. There is a story when the ship was at sea. Again, the bed was in the side of the cabin of a female passenger in mid-Atlantic, was awakened in the middle of the night. The covers had been pulled off of her, and there was a man in a dark suit or uniform at the foot of the bed. She immediately reached across and pressed the button to call the steward, whose pantry was just right over here. And the steward comes running over, and she says, "Did you see him? Did you see him?" And he says, "Madam, what are we talking about? Did you have a dream?" She says, "No, there was a man at the foot of my bed. He pulled the covers off of me." And he said, "Madam, I've been there the whole time. There's no one there." I believe that this ship has a soul. Now, I'm a romantic about the ship. I've loved her my whole life. I'm 57 years old. I've loved her. I've known her for 55 years. And the day King George launched the ship, he did say, "No longer will she be a number on the books, but a ship with a name in the world, alive with beauty, energy, and strength." And today, we have the happy task of sending forth on her way the stateliest ship now in being. I mean, he gave this ship a life from the very start. And somebody else said something interesting that day. And her name was Lady Mabel Fortescue Harrison, and she was a well-known English psychic. They call it Fae. If you're Fae, that means you're psychic. And Lady Mabel made a comment and was carried in all the press that most of us will be gone when this takes place. But the ship launched today, called the Queen Mary, will know her greatest fame and popularity when she never sails another mile or carries another fare-paying passenger. And I can tell you, the ship carried 2.2 million people in peace, but since opening to the public here, we've seen 55 million guests in the 50 years that it has sat here in this berth. So there is some staggering truth to that utterance.
Oh my goodness, could you guys believe that? Oh, it was just amazing touring the Queen Mary, having those amazing experiences with the different tours, learning about all the different new facts I learned about the Queen Mary that I didn't even know about, all the paranormal experiences, and the overall spooky vibe. And that room B340, there is definitely a ghost or some sort of paranormal entity in there because I wasn't feeling too hot. So make sure to go to the Queen Mary's website so you can book your reservation at B340 because it's open now and you can make your reservation, but I would do it quick because the room's filling up. And you can also book your tours. There are all the different types of tours, the paranormal investigation tour, the ghosts and legends tour, and just even touring the Queen Mary. So if you enjoyed this video, don't forget to leave a like, a comment, and don't forget to subscribe, and be sure to hit the notification bell so you're notified every time I upload a video just like this one. Comment down below if you've ever been to the Queen Mary because I want to know. Again, thank you so much to the team at Queen Mary for inviting me to this. I had just a blast and it was such an amazing experience and super spooky too. I'll see you all next time. Don't forget to stay spooky. Bye!